Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I'm colorblind, so I rarely get offended by any color scheme. And likewise, I don't fall in love with any color scheme. But today I was more than pleasantly surprised by the reveal of the Browns' new uniforms. My concern was that if 5 people were on the committee, each one would have 1 or 2 of their ideas incorporated into the final product. But it doesn't look like it happened that way. Now, hopefully, when they make their choice on game day uniforms, they'll stick to the white pants for every game at home and only go with the color rush when the NFL mandates it, hopefully not more than once a year. And oh yeah, when Pittsburgh comes to town, wear the dark uniforms. It's the Steelers who look way tougher in their black uniforms than they do in their whites. We've got the D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, joins us tonight as he does on most Wednesday nights. And, of course, you enjoy his views on all the sports scene in Cleveland. You can reach us at 216-575-0403 or email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Dennis Manoloff with us, longtime. There you go. You were hiding behind the corner.
Good to see you, Les. And
Graduate of Northwestern University. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Did you, when you got the acceptance letter, did you say, "What? Really?"
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, "How in the world am I allowed in?" And then once I got to campus and realized what the average SAT and ACT score was, then I definitely asked Mom and Dad if I could come home. But somehow I stuck it out and graduated on time.
Oh, good for you.
With a
216-575-0403.
decent GPA, by the way.
What? I'm sorry?
I said with a decent GPA, by the way.
Oh, okay. Good for you. Good. But did you ever have to show that to any potential employer? Or could you just say, "Oh, yeah, I was at Northwestern, graduated in the top 10.
I put it on my resume, that I had a 3.51 GPA, which I thought was pretty good for Northwestern. So I wanted to show it off, if you will, but I had to work extremely hard to get that.
Dennis Manoloff with us. All right, D-Man, they tell me you're not a big fan of uniforms one way or the other. But did you get a look at the Browns' new unis?
Yes, I did. I looked at them for about 5 seconds. Here's the way I view it, and I've said this to you before on this show in the past. I don't give a fig about what uniforms the Cleveland Browns or any of the teams that I want to see do well are wearing. All I want to see is victories. Okay. That said, this is a very important distinction. That said, I am not get off my lawn guy. I'm not sitting there going, I won't look at them, or, oh, they don't, they look nice. If they do in fact look nice, I don't have a problem with people who care about uniforms. I just don't care about them.
Oh, all right. You're entitled to that. There you go. You get a look at them. You got 4 different versions there. I would, the one on the right, if you have to go with the color rush, I would wish they would have gone with white numbers, but that wasn't the choice. The helmets, the classic helmets, and so are the uniforms. I think of the Jim Brown days when I see this, but it's a little more modern. I guess the helmet has more color to it, but I like it. I like the white uniforms are tough to look good, especially with the Browns have a problem. They've got brown and orange, which is not one of the great color combinations. But I think this goes back to the old time fans. It doesn't leave the new fans in a lurch either, and I compliment them for it. Again, in my commentary, I said what I didn't want to see is everybody who had a hand in it would it's almost like you'd have 5 different things. It looks like they're all commonly what's the word they're talking about? Alignment. They're talking about alignment in the front office. That's what it looks like in the uniforms. Now, if you don't have a team that plays well, it doesn't matter what they're wearing.
right, Les. But I am one of the reasons I'm not get off my lawn guy when it comes to uniforms is because players, you know, they can feel good about a uniform they're wearing. They can feel excited to wear a uniform. I don't know what it's like to play in the NFL. I've never even sniffed tackle football proficiency. So if a player likes a particular uniform and he feels good in it, then who am I to tell him, oh, the uniform doesn't matter? I think most importantly for me, if I'm looking at the uniforms of my team, I don't want the horrific one, more so than I'm worried about the real sleek one. I just want to make sure whatever they're going to be wearing is not, Chicago White Sox softball short style stuff. As long as they're not embarrassing, and I don't think that's the case here with the Browns. I think the Browns uniforms are fine.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is it goes back to the 50s and the 60s and even into the 70s. But these players weren't even born when that was popular and the Browns became that iconic franchise. But if as these players walk around the building, which they'll hopefully do soon, there definitely is an understanding of what the history of the Browns is all about. Basically, because in the last 30 or 40 years they haven't had much, since uh, the Browns and the Denver Broncos, there hasn't been too much to relate to as far as Browns fans are concerned.
It's a great point, Les. And listen, if I were in charge of the Browns, I would have each year my team breaking camp because we realize a lot of guys are going to get cut in training camp. But once you get your roster that breaks camp, I would sit them down in front of a movie and just make them essentially watch 60 to 90-minute history of the Browns and just have them understand this is the franchise that you represent. And yes, as you said, the success is essentially ancient history, but still, there was a lot of success. And as long as you're wearing the Browns, as long as you have the name, the colors, you're in the city, you might as well know about the Jim Browns and the Marion Motleys and the Bill Willises and the Otto Grahams and the Paul Browns. Why not have each team watch a highlight film of this franchise every year?
I wonder if they do this. I thought they did it one year. I don't know if they do it all the time. Did they take the Browns players down to the Hall of Fame in Canton to show them around?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, Les. I thought I heard that happened once, maybe when they were going to play in one of the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame games, but I don't know if it's an annual trip.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis-Manoloff with us, the D-Man. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. Dr. Fauci was asked about the return of sports. He let us know that he's a Washington Nationals fan and wants to see the Nationals play and defend their World Series title. He gave an update on how sports can return, and there you see it right there. He said, uh, there's a way of doing it. Nobody comes to the stadiums. Put athletes in big hotels wherever you want to play. Keep them well surveilled and have them tested like every week. Make sure that they don't wind up infecting each other and their families. Just let them play the season out. I don't know. It's like a 6 month road trip if you have it. But again, when those guys, when those the health experts, when they say it's time, then it's time. I'm not sure it's Republican time. Republican. I don't think it's a political thing, whether it's Republican or Democrat. I think this is so serious that it's got to be the health people who make that decision.
Well, it shouldn't ever be political when you're talking about health, but I do think there is instead of politics versus health, I think you could say there's the economic side, the quote, get back to semi normal side versus the healthcare side. There's going to be a push pull there. And I agree with pretty much everything Dr. Fauci said in the clip that Brian and Mike Bacon put up on the screen. Um, I think that individual sports are easier, and I put that in quotes because nothing's easy these days, are easier to get back up and running, such as professional golf, maybe professional tennis, bowling, perhaps. the team events, the team sports are going to be harder. And I do think that for at least for 2020, these team sports are going to have to come to the realization that if they do want to play, it's going to have to be in empty venues. But I think you can pull it off. I really do. As long as you test them regularly, maybe in a 2 week, over a 2 week span, and you quarantine them, if you will, and they fly private. You can get them in and out of a city without much interaction with people. And as long as you test them, and if the person tests positive, then obviously he's out of the mix. But I think it can be done.
All right, then yeah, totally different theories going on about college football. There's so many other things involved. The amount of money is staggering. NCAA conference commissioners told Vice President Mike Pence that college football will not return in the fall unless all students are allowed to come back. They don't want it to look like they're hired out, which I think many people would agree that that's exactly what it seems like. But the whole college experience, the whole money, all the lawsuits and everything else, I think that's the message being sent here.
Well, I'm glad you did draw the distinction there, Les, between where you brought up college and we were just talking about pros. I always tried to delineate between the college and the pros when I'm talking about sports because, listen, when it comes to scholastic, we always hear these people say, "Oh, student athletes, student athletes, student athletes." You got to be students first, okay? I mean, I've got a 7th grader. My wife has an 8th grader and a college student as well. These kids have got to get back to school first, all right? And then you worry about your sports on the college side. Professional, you don't worry about the school part. But I'm looking at online learning, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing or hearing as far as feedback goes. So to me, if your college students aren't back in school, then they aren't going into a stadium to watch anybody play anything.
Right. Well, there's something else involved, and you look at the amount of money that'll be lost. Let's use most of us familiar with the Ohio State situation, so let's take a look at that. It's obviously the ticket sales are a huge factor, and it's into the millions, and it helps support all the other sports at Ohio State. But what people don't understand or don't realize is that if Ohio State has a good year in football, the amount of money coming into that university, not from sports, but from donations to the different services that Ohio State provides, and the hospitals and the learning facilities, it's a huge amount of money coming into the university, not directly for ticket sales, but directly because people are proud of Ohio State's program and want to give to make the university even better. I don't think people understand that's part of the deal here.
Yeah, the great fundraiser that is a superior revenue team. In other words, football, men's basketball, that type of deal. Yes, it is very important for these schools who have great programs to have them up and running and making the amount of money they do, because there's a lot of residual money going to various places because of it.
Back to the pro side, Odell Beckham. There's some rumors out about him and a trade. Will that's nothing new, is it? You're not surprised?
I was going to say, the sun came up today. There's an Odell rumor, but I looked out in the window, Les, and there's a little bit of snow. That doesn't happen every April day, so I had to pull back on it. But color me not surprised about an Odell rumor.
All right, we'll talk about that when we get back. Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the past 6 months? People are winning in record numbers, and winning is happening all around the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. We'll come back. We'll find out what WFAN in New York has to say about Odell Beckham and more. Dennis-Manoloff with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's check out birthdays for today. Ed Bailey was born on this date in 1931. Seymour Movies, 1947. Former Indian Jeremy Burnett, yes, Jeremy spelled correctly, at least for his name. Milton Bradley, the games player, and Antonio Cromartie, and Aaron Laffey, who pitched a little bit for the Cleveland Indians. 216-575-0403. So WFAN's Moose and Maggie had a show today, and Moose is saying that he got it under good authority that the Browns and the Vikings are in discussions on a trade that would send Odell-Beckham-Jr. to the Vikings for a second and fifth-round pick next year. Trade is not done, but the deal is being discussed. Tell you what, D-Man, if that trade is done that way, a second and a fifth next year, and getting rid of Odell Beckham this year, I think you have to walk in and clean house again in the front office if that trade is made that way.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though, Les. Nothing involving Odell Beckham Jr. surprises me. No rumor, no speculation, no trade dynamic. Nothing would surprise me. My thought is they're going to stick with Beckham at least for this year with the new regime and the new coaching staff. But as I said, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were looking to move him.
Yeah, but
I just don't know about this.
If this is the deal, you're giving up Beckham and you're getting a second and a fifth next year. That, for a team that wants to contend right now, it's not a very good deal.
No, it certainly doesn't sound like it, especially given what you gave up to get him and the amount of hype that he came with. I would say that's probably not going to happen as reported. But you know, if another one pops up tomorrow, oh well.
Well, so Mary Kay Cabot of cleveland.com reported today she received a one-word answer from a source close to the Vikings about the report that they're talking to the Browns about trading for Odell Beckham Jr. and a second and a fifth next year. The one word was false. And I would hope that is the case. I'm not saying you can't shop them or find out what's out there, but getting a second and a fifth next year doesn't do any good as far as I'm concerned. 216-575-0403.
Les, it is possible that the Browns just happened to call the Vikings and said, hey, you know, Beckham's out there. What are you willing to pay? And they're like, the second and a fifth. And the Browns are like, heck no. You know, that's entirely possible.
Yeah, that stuff goes on all the time. No question about that. Sure. This NFL, obviously a big pass league. It's been that way the last several years. But on Monday, the Carolina Panthers signed Christian-McCaffrey to a 4-year, $64 million extension, making him the highest paid running back. Let's take a look at that. These are the highest paid guys, 1 through 5. McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, and Derrick Henry. And Nick-Chubb is not in the top 5, but I'll take him over just about anybody on that list. He's entering the third year of a 4-year, $7.4 million contract, projected to make $1.15 million in 2020 and $1.49 in 2021, and he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2022. Here's the comparison between the two. Let's take a look. You've got the rushes, the carries are about even. Not too much difference. A little more than 100 yards in rush yards in favor of Chubb. Chubb was the second leading rusher in the league behind Henry, and 15 touchdowns for McCaffrey, just 8 for Chubb. Receptions, look at that, 116 versus 36. Receiving yards, 1,005 out of the backfield against 278, and 4 receiving touchdowns for McCaffrey and Chubb with none. But that had more to do with the system than it had with anything else. Which one would you want? If you're starting a team today, you want McCaffrey or you want Chubb?
Well, I'm biased because I watched Nick Chubb just look so good. So I'll take Chubb, but that's not a knock at all on McCaffrey because McCaffrey's a special player. I will say this: I don't know that I comp Chubb and McCaffrey. They're different types of players, even though they have the running back next to their name. McCaffrey's more of a Swiss Army knife, dual threat with the receiving and the rushing. I don't know that anybody's ever going to mistake Chubb for, a pass catching running back. If I were Chubb, I would, though, get to the pay window or at least have my reps go to the Browns and go, hey, let's start this thing because, number one, running backs have a short shelf life to begin with. Number two, I want to see, for example, if I'm representing Chubb, I want a Todd Gurley type contract. And
well, you also have a situation where you've got Kareem Hunt along with Chubb, and I'm not sure that the second threat on Carolina is anything close to what Hunt is.
That's true, and to me, if you're the reps for Chubb, you do want to strike now if you can because of what you said. It's possible that Hunt takes away some of Chubb's numbers now that Hunt has a full off season to get ready to play for the Browns. So listen, my feeling with running backs in the NFL, Les, is if you have a dominant season, just one, you rush to the pay window and try to get paid as much as you can. I don't care what your contract status is.
Yeah.
If you got to parlay even one really good season. And we know his rookie year was 996. Yeah, he had the carry against the Ravens and knocked them below 1,000. So really, he's had a good year and a great year. That's enough to want to get paid handsomely.
Yeah, because not a lot of shelf life as far as running backs are concerned. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. A week from tomorrow is the beginning of the draft, and we've got full coverage coming your way right here on cleveland.com, Thursday the 23rd at 8 p.m. I will host it along with Dave Bacon and the cleveland.com staff. We break down the NFL draft, and we'll go throughout the first round. That'll be 1 week from tomorrow night, April 23rd, beginning at 8 o'clock. I believe the first pick will be at 8:15. Northeast Factory Direct, East, West, and South. That's where they've got the great locations, but you don't want to miss out at Northfield. At northeastfactorydirect.com is the place to go. Alex is so confident in what he's got going, and you've seen him on TV. You can actually give him a call at his payphone, at his cell phone. Anybody know what a payphone is? I don't think so. Cell phone 216-288-1808 is the number. That's his personal cell phone. Check it out, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come on back in a moment with the D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff. We've got lots of stuff to go with. Bleacher Report has some off-season grades for the Browns and everybody else. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Naturestone.
Got your Ohio Lottery pick 3, I see.
Yup. Those glasses are hip.
Hip? Most people think I'm a square. But what's wrong with that? A box bet can increase your chances of winning. And what is a box? A square. There are so many ways to play. There's coming out the wazoo. Oh, shucks. Look at me yammering on. Put a lid in it, Picky Ricky. Play the Ohio Lottery Pick 3 today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come a teammate once suggested that when Les was listed as a designated hitter, it should be changed to designated batter? Good question. That could have been sports history, lesson being sports history. Instead of a designated hitter, they thought I should be called a designated batter because I didn't hit very well, according to them.
Les, I draw a comparison to my How Come Quickie of recent lore when I said, how come when people say he or she stepped up to the plate, it doesn't mean anything because they haven't reached base yet.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Same writing staff came up with that. All right, Bleacher Report has some offseason grades for the Cleveland Browns on free agency. Let's take a look at it. Right now, the free agency grades in the AFC North by Bleacher Report. You've got the Ravens, who won the division last year with a B+, Cincinnati with a B, Pittsburgh with a B, and the Browns with a B-. I'm surprised to see that because the Browns have been rated higher with almost every other rating service that I've seen. But Martin Fenn explains Cleveland's grade. Let's take a look at it. He says, as much as Cleveland did to improve its offense, it did little to address the defense that ranked second in defensive efficiency last season. The Browns signed Kevin Johnson, Andrew Billings, and Andrew Sendejo, and they are hardly impact moves. Of course, that could change if the Browns signed Jadeveon Clowney, whom they reportedly engaged in contract talks. That would change the whole grade, but of course that deal has not been made. One option that the Browns have prior to the draft coming up a week from tomorrow night. So if they add Jadeveon Clowney, what does that do? Well, he's 27 years old, 6 NFL seasons split between the Texans and the Seahawks, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2016 through 18, 9.5 sacks last year, or in 2017 rather, and 21 tackles for losses. He's looking for $17 to $18 million a year, but then again, who isn't? So there's a red flag. You know, what would you guess the red flag is about Jadeveon Clowney?
It's got to be injuries, Les.
That would be one. That would be one. The other, according to Tony Pauline of the Pro Football Network, he says there are some concerns even from people close to Clowney that once he signs a huge contract, he may not play that hard. He may just get this one contract with all the guarantees, and that's it. And that's a concern of a lot of people. You know, when you're checking out players, obviously you check for their talent and what they do on the field, but that mental side of the game and what they're in it for, to last a long time or just quick hit the payroll. And apparently, according to some people, that's a concern for Clowney. You want Clowney on this team?
I mean, I suppose, but it would have to be at the right price, and that would be significantly lower than what he's asking for. And I think he's finding the going difficult on his demand front. But here's the thing about the grades, though. I say a similar thing about draft grades. We don't know. We really don't know. I'm not saying you can't do it. Again, not get off my lawn guy necessarily, but how do you know what the new coaching staff is going to do with the players it brings in? You know, it's very possible that Hooper and Conklin alone can give the Browns an A grade for their offseason. We don't know how they're going to look under Stefanski. So, not having any of these guys play and assigning a grade to the offseason is a little bit odd to me, just as assigning a grade to a draft when you don't know if any of these guys can play in the league. But I'll go along with it to say, yeah, the defense does have holes, including, Joe Schobert now gone. But I think part of what the Browns think on the optimism side, where the defense is concerned, is big number 95 will be back, and they plan on him being a force, returning to being a force off the edge. And I think one of the reasons the defense fell off last year, not the only one, but one of the reasons was Myles Garrett being suspended.
No question about it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can explore your interests and find a program at Tri-C that puts you in a path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses in over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. We're going to talk some baseball when we get back, especially involving Terry-Francona, who might be the best talent the Indians have. Take a break. More Sports and Les-Levine with Dennis-Manoloff continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Let's take a look at this day in sports history. April 15th, 1947, Jackie Robinson makes his major league debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers in front of 26,623 people. He went 0 for 3, scored a run in a 5-3 win over Johnny Sane and the Boston Braves. Spahn and Sane in 2 days of rain. The D-man, Dennis-Manoloff, with us is, and normally here on a Wednesday night. There you go. All right, let's turn our attention to baseball for a minute or two. The Indians, of course, one of the strengths they have a lot of strengths and a couple of weaknesses, notably in the outfield. But one of the strengths, the manager, Terry-Francona. You still high on him, D-man, as far as his abilities as a major league manager?
100%. I'm bullish on Francona. I would not buy stock in him because it's too high.
Wow.
You know, I'd have to pay too much for it.
Good point. Good point.
Get it?
Yes, I do. All right, so the Major League MLB newarena.com rated all of their managers, and there's so many. You know, you got half the managers are veteran guys, and then you have the new breed coming in, the analytics guys and guys that didn't play the game at the major league level or didn't play it very well. But here's what he's got. He's got Francona is the best in baseball, followed by Bob Melvin of the A's, Joe Madden now with the Angels, Joe Girardi back in the game with the Phillies, Dave Roberts, who played, of course, for the Indians, Dusty Baker, Alex Cora, Well, he's not the manager
Well,
now,
yeah,
but
Cora's gone.
yeah, Cora's gone. Dave Martinez of the Nationals, Brian Snitker of the Braves, and Aaron Boone, who did a good job with the Yankees. You know, you say he did a good job. You'd think anybody could do a good job with the Yankees, but he had to navigate through a whole bunch of injuries. Francona now has managed in the big leagues with the Phillies. He would tell you that he didn't do very well. That was 97 to 2000. With the Red Sox, 2004 to 2011, and now the Indians since 2013. And he's got a career record, including that bad stretch at Philadelphia. 542 percentage, 2 World Series wins, 04 and 07 with the Red Sox. Never had a losing season with the Red Sox or the Indians. And the streak could continue this year if there is baseball. And his importance to the Indians, D-Man, he's got a 564 record percentage with the Indians, 3rd most wins in franchise history. 4 straight seasons with 90-plus wins, 102 and 60 record in 2017. And that was the 2nd most wins in franchise history behind the 1954 team. 3 AL Central titles, 1 World Series appearance. And I'll be honest with you, D-Man, when he came here, I would have never imagined he'd still be managing the Indians at this stage of the game.
Yeah, you weren't sure what his longevity was going to be, but he's obviously found a home here. Overcame a health scare a couple years ago. I would put him at the top of the list of major league managers current. It is interesting though when you look at the most recent World Series champions. Of course, Dave Martinez, but he hasn't been in it long enough. But then you got Alex Cora, who's not there anymore. He got booted. By the way, MLB, what kind of pace are you moving at to figure out whether the Red Sox did anything in 2018? Still haven't heard from Manfred about the investigation of the Red Sox in 18. So he's out.
Why do you think that is, by the way? They think that they did
know.
so many bad things. They did so many bad things that because it's that Red Sox franchise that it would hurt the integrity of the game even more.
It is possible. And let me just finish the thought before. A.J. Hinch, of course, winning in 17. He's gone. So Francona, give me Francona above any of these guys, including Joe Madden. Everybody worships the ground Madden walks on. I'll take Francona. I sure wish he would have been able to bag that World Series in 16 at Madden's expense. Then you've got a 3-time world champ. But even then, he's still in the Hall of Fame. Francona's still in the Hall of Fame. But to your point about the question about the Red Sox, I don't know what's taking MLB so long. You can't tell me they don't know by now if the Red Sox were up to no good. Methinks, I don't have any sources, I'm just guessing. Methinks if the Red Sox were clean, MLB would have come out and said it by now, right?
I would think, and
they would have shouted from the rooftops, "Hey, the Red Sox are clean. We checked them out." I'm sensing they're not clean, but MLB doesn't want to say anything because they're afraid. I mean, you've already got a league in turmoil. You got the Astros controversy hanging over your head. Now you're not sure you're even going to play the season. Why would you throw another kerosene log on the fire to say the Red Sox cheated?
Well, would you think if you think if it was just some nondescript team that you'd have heard about it by now, but it's because of the franchise that it is, the Red Sox, maybe along with the Yankees and the Dodgers, maybe and Cubs, maybe the top 4 image teams in baseball. You think that's what it has to do with?
Yeah, it's entirely possible, Les, but I'll say this. You mentioned the Dodgers as an iconic franchise in MLB. If I'm the Los Angeles Dodgers and I've already been told that the Astros cheated against me in 17, I really, really, really want to know if the Red Sox cheated against me in 18 to win their World Series. So if I were the Dodgers ownership and brass, I'd be beating down MLB's door saying, "Hey, where is this investigation? Why haven't we finished it up yet?" And I know. More important things are happening in this world right now. And yes, MLB's trying to figure out how to play a season. But its failure to close this investigation is another embarrassment for MLB.
You know, you talk about the iconic franchise of the Dodgers, who got, you're talking about the Houston win, and then maybe the Boston Red Sox win. It's kind of hard to believe that the Dodgers have not won since the Kirk Gibson home run. Isn't that kind of hard to believe historically?
Yeah, yes, it is. That is correct. You know, I had forgotten that once when I was saying, oh, they hadn't won since '81, but the strike split year of '81. But it was in fact '88 with Gibson and the improbable, stunning upset of the mighty Athletics in 1988. But yes, and it goes to my point, Les. What I've tried to tell people about baseball, it's not as bad off in terms of the super rich teams always win because, as you said, Dodgers, nothing since '88. Yankees, since 2001, they've won once, which was 2009, I believe. So the Yankees with one in the last 19 years or 20 years. The Dodgers, nothing since '88. The Cubs once, as we know, unfortunately at our expense. The White Sox once in the last however many decades in '05, and then
'05,
the Red
and then
Sox,
going back to '59 before that.
And the Red Sox have definitely done they've got 4 of them in the last 20 years. But the Mets, they haven't done anything. So these gigantic markets have not always won in the salary capless MLB.
216-575-0403, East, West, and South. That's where you're going to find Northeast Factory Direct and their website. NortheastFactoryDirect.com is the place to go. Alex has his cell phone number out there for you. 216-288-1808 is the number to call if you have any questions for him. Sokolowski's University Inn, they, of course, closed like all restaurants. I'm going to ask you for your support once things get back. They have been in business since 1923. There's not a better family, a better food operation than Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come on back at 216-575-0403. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone for up to half off and never replace your garage flooring again. Cracked, uneven garage floors are dangerous. Thin paints and poly coatings you can do yourself are slippery, peel, and don't correct problems. Why pay for a floor that won't last? Only a professionally installed Nature Stone garage floor is safe and corrects problems that paints can't. And Nature Stone comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, so there are no hidden maintenance costs. Schedule online today at naturestone.com to qualify for up to half off. Hurry, offer ends April 30th. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in Les-Levine history, April 15th, 1977. For years, Gus, a longtime softball umpire on the East Side, told players he once played for the San Diego Chargers. Gus did not account for he didn't count on the fact that the internet was going to be invented and people could check out things like that. You go back in history, find out just about anything you want to find out. D-Man Dennis-Manoloff was with us. Hey, D-Man, fill in the blank, okay? Ready? With the 10th pick in the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns
select. I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Okay.
Offensive lineman Josh Jones of Houston.
With their first round pick?
With their 10th overall pick, yes.
Wow. Where's that coming from?
Well, here's the thing, Les. We generally talk about the big four tackles, Thomas, Wirfs, in any particular order, depending on your preference.
Right.
Thomas, Wirfs, Wills of Alabama, and
Beckton.
Who's the other one?
Beckton.
But as I'm digging, I'm looking at Pro Football Focus, and they love Josh Jones of Houston. So I'm wondering if the Browns, given their allegiance to PFF, are going to lean in that direction. Having said what I just said about the offensive tackle, number one, I hope that he's number either 1 or 2 on the Browns' preferred list of tackles. Number two, if Jerry Jeudy's there, I said this on last week's show, I would have a difficult time walking away from Jerry Jeudy. I think he is a special player at wide receiver out of Alabama. I think that you cannot bank on Jarvis Landry coming back from this hip surgery. I don't know how significant it was, but it sounds significant to me. So I'm not guaranteeing that Jarvis Landry returns. I don't know what kind of player I'm getting in Odell-Beckham-Jr. And so I would have a difficult time passing on Jerry Jeudy. Let's just put it that way.
All right. So we asked our Facebook followers, what's the Browns' biggest need, an impact defender or a left tackle? Gerard Morelli says left tackle. That's a no-brainer. Larry Pantages says making defenses worry about playmakers with the ball. Tackle is the asphalt that builds the road. Glenn Berger says a great question, as both are equally needed. Have to go with the left tackle, though. The offensive line was a major weakness last season and resulted in Baker-Mayfield having a poor season. So there you go. Good responses on that. We have a Facebook question each and every day, and you can follow us on Facebook. We'll tell you about that a little bit later. In the meantime, next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, it's the NFL Draft, and you'll be able to follow it right here starting at 8 o'clock. More Sports and Les-Levine special edition. Dave Bacon will join me, and the cleveland.com staff will break down the NFL Draft throughout the entire first round. That'll be coming up 1 week from tomorrow night, beginning at 8 o'clock. First pick, we believe, is at 8:15. You can follow us on Facebook, as I mentioned, but you could also call the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you can't get to us when we do the show, which is 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, you can call us the other 23 hours of the day at 216-200-6650. Call anytime, leave a message, and we'll put the best messages on a future show. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively with Dennis-Manoloff.
You love it, always wanted it, and there's never been a better time to get Nature Stone than during our Spring Weather Breaker sale. We're breaking spring sales records with up to half off beautiful Nature Stone garage floors, patios, porches, and more. Correct cracked, uneven concrete that thin paints and poly coatings can't. Every Weather Breaker savings comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, and there are no hidden maintenance costs. Schedule online today at naturestone.com to qualify for up to half off. Hurry, offer ends April 30th. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery, partners in education, where stars shine.
Well, tomorrow night we welcome back Terry Pluto. Hasn't been with us for a while. He just was awarded the top sports writing award in the USA. How about that? Terry Pluto will join us tomorrow. You see us 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here exclusively on cleveland.com. Terry, of course, with the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. You can follow us on Facebook, as I mentioned, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, is with us, as he is every Wednesday night. You got some dates coming up on WTAM. Are you able to announce them at this point?
Yes, Thursday, tomorrow, 7 to 10, part of the Talk Force, Ray Davis's Talk Force. And then I'll be on part of our draft coverage the following Thursday, riding shotgun with the great Mike Snyder.
Excellent. All right, 216-575-0403 if you want to get in this last segment with the D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff. Got some quickies to go through, or some emails also. If you had to do it over again, this is from Glenn. If you had to do it over again, would you choose Bradley Chubb instead of Denzel Ward? I'm always worried about Denzel's durability. What do you think?
There's a ways to go before I make a decision on whether Ward was the right or wrong pick. And I like him more than I dislike him. So, no, I would do that, the same thing.
Okay, Eastside Eddie says, addition by subtraction. He doesn't want to practice, and we're talking about Odell Beckham right now. He doesn't want to practice, doesn't learn the playbook. Mayfield had to move him into position on almost every play last year, and then his lack of practice time with Mayfield made Mayfield look bad. Let him go while he has some value. You agree to that? My concern would be what you just said about Landry not being guaranteed. I'm not sure I want to go into the season without both of those guys.
Yeah, one of the reasons that Beckham might still be here in 2020 is because he is a hedge for Jarvis Landry. You've got to make sure that Landry can come back from that hip. And, but Odell Beckham Jr. is going to have to buy in if he's going to return to his celebrated heights. I hope Stefanski hammered that point home to him in their meeting shortly after Stefanski was hired. There can't be the freelancing. There can't be Odell just being Odell. He needs to be part of a structure. He needs to run the route that he's told to run. He needs to memorize the playbook as if he were memorizing, anything important to him. And he's got to be a help to Baker-Mayfield.
Yeah, and he's got a big chance with the new coaching staff. We'll see how that works out. All right, here's a How Come Quickie from Big Ed. You ready for this, D-Man?
Yes, sir.
How come my wife will buy anything marked down? Last month she bought an escalator, which has its ups and downs. You like that one?
I've never heard of an escalator being purchased, but I like where the thought is, so I give that an 8.5.
8.5 is pretty good. Mr. Gullible, how come when I was a kid you clapping already?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Gullible says, how come when I was a kid I fell into a well, it was a day well spent? It's too complicated. How come when I told my psychiatrist that I dreamed of being a poker champion, he said, I'll deal with you later?
Nice.
9.
I
had a friend at Ohio State, a fraternity brother. He had a co-major, poker and gin rummy. I had a fraternity brother who won the World Series of Poker a couple of times.
What?
Yeah, Mickey Appleman. Check him out. Google him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, check that out.
It's great.
Same fraternity, Richard Lewis of Curb Your Enthusiasm. We did a lot of studying back then. John Patrick says, how come I ate 4 times and took 3 naps and it's still today? I think we're all like that right now. I have no idea day to day what like last Friday, we do the show Monday through Thursday. Last Friday, I got in the car, started going to the studio. It was not a smart move on my part. On the other hand, 3 members of the staff were there also on the wrong day. Yeah.
Les, if I don't get a call from Brian, I don't know it's Wednesday.
Things to do. Call D-Man on Wednesday. All right, you got about, a minute or 2. Today's still Wednesday, right? Yeah. Okay, you got about a minute or 2. What's on your mind?
Well, Les, regarding the NFL draft, because we're thankful. I am at least that it's actually ongoing. The NFL is conducting business. I'm glad they are. We need something to look forward to. But you and I are both bullish on Simmons. We're not the only one, the linebacker out of Clemson. So, of course, if somehow, some way Simmons was there at 10, we would snap him up. The reason I said they're going to take an OT is because I expect Simmons to be off the board in relatively short order. But, they're going to have their choice, I think, of offensive tackles. But I want to reiterate, I hope that when they do their list and they rank their tackles, whatever system they use, whoever they consult, that the pick they make for that tackle is either their number 1 or number 2 guy. I don't want it to be like
whoever falls to them.
Well, yeah, like 3 or 4 tackles are gone. I don't think that's possible by 10, but let's say 3 of the tackles were gone by 10. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with the Browns taking their 4th choice at tackle at the number 10 overall.
I'll apologize if I'm wrong on this. I think it was Doug Maurice who was here on the show this Monday. I think he wrote, if not, I apologize, that you take a look at the 4 linemen, and you think they're interchangeable, one's as good as the next. But the reality might be when it's all said and done, one was terrific, one was okay, one was bad, and the other got hurt. I think that's probably a correct analysis of it.
That's true. And, it truly is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to these tackles because, Wirfs is a stud. I'm not sure he's going to be around. Wills is a guy. He comes from Nick Saban, for crying out loud. He protected Tua's blind side as a right tackle. He could swing left tackle or stay at right, and Conklin could go play left maybe. So you like him. Becton is a physical marvel, as we saw in the combine.
Is it possible he's too physically good?
Becton?
Do you need a guy who runs that fast at that position?
Yeah. Of course, you'd like him to be nimble and be able to kick out against those speed rushers. But this is where I said off of last week, I want them to bring in Joe Thomas, the Browns, pay him, whatever he wants, maybe a slab of ribs. I don't think Thomas is going to hold him for ransom, but just say, Joe, watch the tape on these guys and give us your report on these tackles. And we want to know who you think is the best tackle for the NFL for the next 5, 7, 9 years.
That's a great point. No question about that. All right, D-Man, have a great show tomorrow night and have a great week. Stay safe, you and the family, and we'll see you next Wednesday night.
I'll say it again. I miss Classic.
Okay. Thanks, D-Man. Dennis-Manoloff. You can follow him on WTAM. All right, that'll do it for us. We'll be here tomorrow night. Terry Pluto will be here. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.